Hi there, amazing artists. I'm here to show you how to create your pinch pot animal out of some earth clay. So you are going to be starting with a pinch pot, but we don't want to use our whole clay for that because we want to save some for the details. So I'm going to break this into two pieces. One will be for the pinch pot and the other one will be for all the additional details. So we're going to start with a sphere. And then you're going to press your thumb into the middle, and you're not going to push all the way through. You're just going to make what's called an indentation, which is like a carved out center. Don't make it go the whole way through because we don't want to make a donut. Okay? Then we're going to start pinching the clay out to the outside. Now you can decide if you want your pinch pot to hold something. So if you want to make like a container to hold some like little trinkets or something at home, you can make it for that. If you want to make it for someone as a gift, like if you want to make an animal that someone else really likes, you can make a container. So it will be this way so that the opening is at the top. If you would like to just create a decorative piece, which means it will just sit on the table, you can turn it this way and then create all the other parts and details of your animal. So if you want it just for decoration this way, if you want a container this way. I'm gonna make mine a container, so I'm gonna turn it this way and I'm gonna just tap it gently on the table so that it is flat on the bottom. All right, now you're gonna try to make some things that will make yours look more like the animal. So I'm gonna make a fish because I really like fish. But you can make an animal that you know, any type of animal will work. You can make like your spirit animal, or you can make something that just interests you, something that's really cool. Just think of the facial features that you want to add to create that animal. So I have a back fin here for my fish. I'll attach it there, but I want to check to make sure that it doesn't bump on the table, so it might have to be moved a little bit and change its shape. So see, I tested it there and now it works a little bit better. So I want to make sure that it stays there. Maybe I'll move it up a little. All right, now I want to connect this to my clay, and to connect it I need to do two things. The first thing I need to do is scratch up the clay to create some texture on it. I'm going to use a toothbrush for that. This creates little indentations in the clay so that the clay can stick together better. Then I'm going to add a little tiny bit of water, just a little bit, to create some adherence, or basically gluing. So I'm pushing this together using my fingers, and then the last thing I need to do is smooth it together using one of these tools or my fingers. So I'm creating a nice even surface that will help hold the two pieces together. Pushing that clay together, making sure it's all connected. You don't want to see any cracks in there. There we go. So his fin is on there. I can turn that up a little bit, turn it down, do whatever. It looks kind of like a little coffee cup right now, so I need to add some more details. So now I'm going to do the two side fins, and I want them to be the same, so I'm going to try and make them the same size and shape. This one needs a little bit more. All right, that looks like a fin. And I want this one to look the same, so I'm going to kind of form it to make it the same. Yeah. All right, and I'm going to put one on each side to make it look like the little fins. Oh. I'm having trouble making that work. So I'm going to put one on each side of my fish there, and I'm going to attach it using the scratching. That's called scoring. And there's a little bit of water on my brush already, so I might not need to add more. I'll put a little bit on. And when you're using the water, you just want a little bit. You don't want it to be very slippery, because then it will just slide right off your clay. So I'm pushing this together, smoothing part of it out with my fingers, and then I can kind of position it like that. That's in there. Do one on the other side, scratch it up. Scratch up that piece. I want to make sure I do the right side because I was having trouble with that. This side is the correct side. Put a little tiny bit of water and then push it together to make it stick. Smooth it out. So this is starting to look more like a little fish. He's not going to have a top fin because he doesn't have a top. He's just going to be a container. So I'm going to make his little face here. I'm going to add a piece. Make it look more like a fish. And I'm just using my fingers to pinch the clay. Your fingers are your best tools. You don't necessarily need any of these other tools to form the clay. Those are just added there for some other details. So I think that looks pretty good, but if I'm going to stick it together, I need to scratch it first. So I'm going to scratch it up. And then I'm going to scratch this part too, put a little dot of water. And then I'm going to press it together, make my fish's face. And after I press it together, I'm going to smooth it out. I need to add some eyes, and I always like to give my little fish, when I draw them, some big eyes. So I want to make some nice big eyes for my fishy. And I also like to have my fish have big kissy lips, so I can open this up by cutting and then making his lips up a little bit like that. So you can change the shape after you do it. I can even make it look kind of human. Do a little bit of personification there and add some human features like some kissy lips for fish. So he can look a little cartoony if you want. It doesn't have to be a realistic fish or animal. There we go. I think he's looking pretty good. Or she, if it's a she. I keep pushing this poor little fin in. Alright. Then I'm going to make some eyes. I want to make them the same size, so I get the clay about the same size. Roll it. Then I like to squish it flat. And then his eyes are going to be here. And I can even stick them up a little bit. So whatever you're making, you want to make it kind of interesting. And then after you're done adding all those details, oh, those are big eyes. I love it. He's cute. You can start to add some texture into your artwork, your sculpture, using the tools. So fish have scales all over their body, so I might want to use the tools to make some scales. And I do that last because I don't want to accidentally smooth out any of my textures that I already put in when I'm sculpting my fish. Alright, so he looks pretty good. Now I'm going to add some of these little eyes here. I want his tail to be a little taller. So I can add some little eyes here. I guess I could use this instead. So you want to use the things around you to kind of make your textures. That looks cool. And then you want to add some other things like some lines. You can carve into the clay to make some lines on the tail. Tail here. Whatever you get done at the end of today is how your animal is going to look, so remember to use your time wisely. This is only taking me a couple minutes, and I know that I've done a lot of clay before, but you can get it done in that amount of time. If I didn't think that you could, I wouldn't have asked you. Let's see, so we'll do some scales on him. The coolest part about clay is if it doesn't turn out exactly how you like, you can just rub and erase it. So if you don't like the way the scales look, you can start again. And a lot of animals, actually almost all animals, have symmetry in their bodies, so whatever you do on one side, you'll have to do on the other too. And we've talked about that before, so you should be very familiar. I'm pushing in this side here. I need to brace the body. All right, so my fish is now complete, and he'll be ready to go into the machine called the kiln. And after he goes into the kiln, he'll come out and he won't be a gray color anymore. He'll be a nice white fish, and I will get to paint him. So after you're done, you're going to go to the kiln room, which is over by the closets, by the sinks, and you're going to find the square on the paper that has your name on it, and you're just going to set your clay project in that section. That will help me know which one is yours, and I can write your name on the bottom. I do not want you to write your name on the bottom because I don't want you to mess up your really cool pinch pot that you created. So I hope you guys have fun, and remember, when you want to attach two pieces, make sure that you're scratching it and using that water like the glue. Have fun!